Hi everyone, my name is Mauricio Arevalo and today I'm going to talk about LGBT plus inclusive policies in the Colombian educational system. First, a little bit of history and its recent history. On August 4th of 2014, Sergio Rego, a 16 years young man, jumped from the rooftop of a famous shopping center in Bogota. His suicide was a much talked about scandal in media since it was proof that his decision was related to a story of homophobia and systematic discrimination. Urrego was studying in a private school and he was forced to quit his studies for several months. The reason was a romantic relationship he was having with one of his male peers, which was forbidden in the educational community handbook. He was expelled from the school with the condition to come back only if he began psychotherapy. Even by undergoing their demands, the principal never let him come back, with the argument that he had sexually assaulted his former boyfriend. Urrego's parents then decided to change schools, arguing the discrimination Sergio had suffered. Even though it looked like a new beginning, he took his life the day after making the Prueba Saber, which is the Colombian standardized test. This case, well known by the educational community in Bogota, established the beginning of a key and transgressive debate in Colombian education. After legal actions were executed, the school counselor, for instance, was convicted to prison for 35 months. The story of Sergio Rego became a symbol of the need for official policies against gender and sexual discrimination in schools. One example of these policies is Decree 062 of 2014, also known as Sergio Rego Decree, which fully guarantees the rights of LGBT plus people in the district of Bogota. This decree created the Escuela para la Inclusión y la Diversidad, which means schools for inclusion and diversity, whose purpose is to switch the beliefs and imaginaries that prolong gender identity and sexual orientation based violence. Likewise, Judgment T 478 of 2014 15, sorry, ordered the Ministry of Education to include gender identity in the Education of Human Rights program. Additionally, the ministry would check all the educational community handbooks to guarantee that sexual orientation and gender diversity are being promoted and protected. Character education in Colombian schools should promote diversity, equity, and inclusion values and anti bullying campaigns. It should also guarantee students' right to privacy and freedom to build their identities as their will. The facts and the law are on the table, but the communities have not received them with pleasantness. There is indeed a major acknowledgement of gender diversity and sexual orientation in Colombian schools. Nonetheless, when the Ministry of Education, obeying the order of the judgment, to promote gender and sexual diversity through an official handbook, the protests and the social media pressure overthrew this handbook and forced the minister to resign. This tension, as it is stated by Adams, Bell, and Griffin in their book Teaching for Diversity and Social Justice, is pretty much the same in Colombia as in the United States. In this order of ideas, there is a gap between the theory and the practice. Even though we know the advantages of gender inclusive education, we are not sure how the community will react or if administration or the PDA will support us. There is still a considerable fear to address LGBT plus inclusion in education. Despite the fear, the 2015 National School Climate Survey acknowledges some of the gender inclusive education benefits. So first, LGBT plus students in schools with an LGBT plus inclusive curriculum were less likely to hear gay use in a negative way. They were less likely to hear homophobic remarks, and these students in schools with an inclusive curriculum were more likely to report that their classmates were somewhat or very accepting of LGBT plus people than other students, and felt more connected to their school community than other students. Is this topic being addressed in your countries? If so, it could be of my interest to know how they are doing it. Thank you so much for your attention and see you soon. Ciao.